Good morning, everyone. This is the July 13th meeting of the Darien Beautification Commission, and we do have a quorum, which is good. So could we have a motion to approve the minutes of June 8th, 2022? And just so there's no confusion, those are the ones I circulated last night. My comments, unfortunately, are a bit too subtle because I sent the revised version to Lisa for posting and didn't make it obvious to you that I had fiddled with them. So I circulated those last night. Everybody's had a chance to review. So Elizabeth, motion to approve. And
Clunk.
oh, that's
Your garden
weirder, sorry. Seconded.
Second.
Thank you, Tracy. And all those in favour?
Aye.
Great, thank you. So approved. And the second item is resignations from the Commission. Katie Jarrett has unfortunately moved to Stanford, so she's had to resign from the Commission. So we're down to 8. And we have another resignation pending because Sue Oakey is going to be moving to the Commission on Aging.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I told her she's too young, but she thinks she needs a change. So she's going to move to that commission. I'm not sure when she's going to do it. She's leaving for Europe today. But we will be down to 7.
That's a fine excuse to not be here.
Yeah.
Pretty good excuse. So if we're back to where we were earlier in the year, if we know of anybody who would like to join. And
Or work at the polls in August. Or work at the polls in August.
Or work at the polls. It's a separate topic, Tracy. Anybody who would like to join the Commission, please contact us. Our email is on the website. We can contact any of us individually, and if any of us have any friends who might be interested, that would be great. We have a spiffy new budget this year, so we have the means to do...
Already chipped into it?
Yes, we've already chipped into it, but we have a lot of potential for some very good work we'll talk about in a moment.
Nice stuff, yeah.
All right, next item is just to update you on the berm and Habitat Hills and also the plantings around Town Hall. So we just, I guess, towards the end of our last fiscal year, decided we had enough money in our budget to take control of the cement planters around Town Hall that were full of the vinca, myrtle, I think you call it.
Weeds.
Yeah, and they got very, very weedy and really unsightly to the point where people were commenting on them. And so we bought some native rhododendron, which formed the backdrop of the planters, and then hydrangea called Endless Summer, which, according to its name, should be blooming continuously through the summer. So we've added some colour, we've added some height, and some tidy up.
Mulch.
And some mulch, yes. Oh, and that's another thing, actually. Public Works worked really, really hard. The day we had those planted, they tore out all the old irrigation system because a lot of it had been damaged. And they pulled it all out, we set out the plants, and then they arranged the new irrigation system to fit our plantings. So they were perfectly arranged around our plants to give them maximum benefit.
So nice.
Yeah, it couldn't have been nicer. And then they offered to provide the mulch and mulch.
2 days they mulched.
Yes.
Wow.
And took a lot of mulch. So we're really grateful to them. I think we
It
had...
just looks so pretty.
Yeah, it's such a good
I
partnership.
always get nice comments, and I look out my window all the time.
Yeah, it's so nice.
We did it for Tracy.
Yeah.
No one else. And then Habitat Hill, so the slopes. We seem to have completely different soil in the area that was manhandled for the
stairs.
repair of the staircase. And the plants there are struggling. It can't be for lack of irrigation because the system works there. I think the soil quality just was degraded through all that work. But things are gradually coming along. This is really severe weather right now, and everything is struggling. I thought I might actually talk to Public Works about maybe putting the irrigation system on twice a day while it's so bad. I mean, it goes against my principles because I think we ought to be conserving water. I haven't done it yet. I'm still tormenting myself whether we should do that. But we've also moved some of the plants on the right-hand side next to the Mailer Centre have seeded themselves on the footpath. So on cooler evenings, I've been down digging up those plants on the footpath and moving them to the other side, and then trying to remember to water so that we're balancing a little bit. And then I think we have a lot of the anise hyssop that seeded itself down there, and that's what we're using at Noroton Heights. So I'm going to try, it's just too hot to do it right now, but I'm going to try and dig up some of those, plant them, keep them watered, and then move them over to Noroton so we start to fill that out too. The Noroton bed is looking a lot better. Tracy and I weeded last week one bed, and then we had to have Elder weed the other bed. It was just...
I did a bed and a half.
Yeah, no,
And
Tracy
Elder
did.
finished
Yeah,
it.
she did. Tracy did most of the work. I joined for an hour or so. I shouldn't make it seem like Tracy and I. It was Tracy with
Neither
a
is
little
true.
bit of help from me, so that's things are sort of under control there. Then the berm.
Of course, no sooner did I weed it, and someone threw a stupid Frito-Lay wrapper.
Oh, do you hate
It's like,
that?
Oh, it's Frito-Lay, it's beer cans,
Oh, I know.
it's walking through the
Yeah.
gardens.
It's terrible.
But the bike rack has definitely helped, so people
No.
don't walk through it.
Yeah.
And then on the berm, well, we have our never-ending Japanese knotweed and
Yeah, I
mugwort,
noticed.
but we've had Elder cut down a lot of the Japanese knotweed. I think what we've decided to
Which
do
had
there,
turned into like full-fledged.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
hard to pull
bamboo.
out.
yeah. So I think what we've more or less decided there in sort of doing a kind of recce on the site is that we're going to continue to pull the weeds as much as possible and plant over them. We can't plant at the moment because there's no irrigation there. It's really difficult to keep going back and watering. Some of the plants that most of the plants that we planted earlier in the summer have done well. We even planted a tree, a redbud, and that's doing well. Mm-hmm. I think that's because it's at the bottom of the berm and any moisture that's there just sort of runs down. So it keeps it watered. And the red twig dogwood that we planted last year has really, really come along. It's almost doubled in size. But the invasives continue to be a problem. I've arranged for us to borrow a tarp from the pollinator pathway. We have a massive one that we lent to the Land Trust, and they're going to give that back to us. I'm going to collect that tomorrow. So we're thinking that there's a patch of just pure mugwort that we can cover with tarp, and we'll do this sort of experiment, see if we can just suppress that. We can't do the whole berm, bless you. We can't do the whole berm because we have too many good plants in there. But there's a whole section that probably doesn't have good plants in, it just has weeds, and we thought it would be a good educational effort to try to suppress using tarp. It'll take a couple of years, and we can hopefully do some signage to show what we're doing. And then for everything else, we'll continue to cut down and try to weaken the roots of the knotweed, and we'll keep hand pulling the mugwort and just planting over. And we should have a source of plants from Habitat Hill, where they keep replanting themselves on the pathway. And if not, we'll spring for some new ones as long as we can keep them watered. But we have that capital budget that will really help us pay for that continual hand pulling and chopping down.
So you don't really want to pull until we have something to replace for each spot, is that what you're saying?
What happens is there's a saying that nature abhors a vacuum, so if you pull out a plant, then a weed will grow there.
Right.
So we can deal with the knotweed because it's the idea there is just to keep weakening it by cutting it. And because the roots are now so deep and so, they spread laterally, so they're so far gone. But the only thing you can do is just keep trying to weaken it. And we can't plant where the knotweed is.
Right.
And it's very tricky because it's all in those rocks around the water as
Yeah,
well.
yes.
But the more that we can suppress it there, the more that we can weaken it, hopefully when the rhizomes travel laterally, as we work, on top of where those roots are, we'll gradually dig those out. So I'm hoping that that sort of two-pronged approach will work. The mugwort is just so unsightly.
Yeah.
And what's happening is the mugwort and the bindweed is growing around our good plants.
Right.
So we do need to get those out so that our good plants can breathe.
Don't get choked, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's a bit of a balance. We don't want to have such a big bare patch that we know it's just all going to come back, but we do need to tidy it.
Right.
So we've been going over it with Elder and explaining kind of what we can do to make it look better without causing ourselves more work. And we've identified the area where we think we can tarp. Now, I was going to suggest that maybe we all meet on Friday to work there, but it's so desperately hot that I really don't know that it's such a good idea.
I'm not in town Friday morning.
Yeah, and I think we just need to wait until maybe the end of August, because it's so hot that we really can't do it justice, even if we were 6 or 7 of us.
And we've got Elder chipping away at it.
Yes.
He's chipping away at it.
Yeah, he's
on a
chipping
basis.
away at
Yeah.
it, and plus we also agreed too that we're going to try, Elder was going to try and move those grasses back that are in the front. If they can move that back,
That's a good idea.
then we can weed whack along there and push our line back so that we might be able to get it mowed.
We can get it mowed, and then there's less to maintain.
So-
And it's not,
that's
I mean,
good.
it's
So
not
we keep it
reducing
behind
it.
those trees.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's not reducing it in a way that really minimises the space.
Right.
It's just kind of sensible. The grasses
Yeah.
have moved
Yeah.
forward as
Right.
they've grown.
And at this point too, it's about 8 or 10 feet beyond the bottom of the staircases.
Yes, yeah.
So we have that room to go back, and it's a heck of a lot easier to mow it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it'll look
That's a
tidier.
good idea.
It'll have a more,
I think so too.
Yeah, and Elder will do an edging. He said
Yeah.
he'd do a nice edging along there too, so
Good.
that would help.
So I think, are you all okay with that? I mean, if anyone's desperate to go over weeding, that's absolutely I kind of feel if I've lost my motor, I'm sure you have. I'm all gung-ho.
Oh, it's just so,
I
it's just so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
We haven't had rain in weeks.
I'm about ready to do a rain dance.
It's desperate. Well, I thought we were supposed to have rain last night.
I know.
Nothing. It's just so
It's
dusty.
about 4 drops.
So that's the berm, Habitat Hill.
And-
We
and,
talked a little bit
station.
about Noroton. So Sue has ordered a sign for Noroton Heights, and we've got the name of Jim Cameron's commuter action group on the sign.
Nice.
And we still have Jim's money intact, so I think we will also, when it gets a bit cooler, combine whatever plants we can take from Habitat Hill. We can also buy a few more to supplement. And I think tomorrow, the sign's ready tomorrow, I'll go and pick it up. And Jim wants to be involved in the decision on the location of the sign. I mean, there aren't that many options, but I had an idea and he didn't like it. So I think I'll meet him down there, and I'll let you all know when we meet down there if you want to come down. I think he'd like to...
And a bottle of champagne will break.
Yes, I think he wants a photo opportunity, and it does make some sense. We could,
Sure.
for his action group, and maybe just make people more aware that it's not very
It's
nice
a garden
to...
and it's
not
not
a
a
bad
trash
thing.
it.
Yeah,
It's
not
a
a
trash
trash
it and
can.
to walk through it.
Yeah.
So, but no one's picked the flowers.
Yes, that's good.
I saw a cute sign when I was walking the other day that said, it was along the post road, and it said, please don't pick our flowers. And I'm thinking, it's not people picking the flowers, it's the deer coming along eating your flowers.
Yeah, it's the deer, the groundhog, the rabbits. My garden is Disney World. I go out and they all just look at me.
What are you doing here?
Yes, this is
our
garden.
playground.
I did take a picture of Noroton of the one of the echinacea, and it had this beautiful monarch butterfly on it. It was surrounded by weeds, and I wasn't sure. So if I post that and say this is the garden at Noroton, everyone's going to say, "Oh, that's horrible. It's all weed."
That's the best you can do.
Yeah, see exactly. I thought, I'll just leave it.
But it was so pretty though, the other day we were both down at the berm, there were so many butterflies.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And even like on your side as well, but even
Yeah.
even on our side
Yes.
there by the actual berm, it just
Good.
it just looks so pretty.
It
Oh,
really
that's
did,
nice.
and they love it. They travel the whole length.
And then
of
one
it.
dead tree that
so
we want
glad.
to take out, the birds seem to love. I was like,
Yeah.
can't you find a better perch?
Yes. Oh, the dead tree. Yes, the robins love the dead tree.
They love the dead tree.
It's at a sort of lookout post.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Which we did not plant.
No, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't plant the dead tree.
No,
We never
didn't
plant dead trees.
That was the tree conservancy.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
us.
So we've nixed the next clean-up, I think. But that's not to forbid anybody from doing anything they'd like to
I think
clean up.
right after Labor Day probably,
Yeah.
things cool off and schedules kind of get back on track.
And you may wonder why I'm wearing white. It's to stop myself weeding when I come here.
Oh, that's smart.
I've decided to only come here in clean clothes, and then I don't touch the weeds. I don't come in my
I
gardening
pull a lot of
clothes.
stuff as I walk down to my car.
Yes, I know you
You're
do the
wearing
same
black.
thing.
So,
And then there was
yeah.
the one time when I started doing that, and I left my laptop on the Veterans Circle.
Oh my gosh.
I got so carried away with the weeds. Anyway, that's devotion. All right, so our next item is update on Adopt a Garden. Sue's not here, but she has been emailing a couple of our landscapers who've let their islands run to mugwort. And they didn't actually respond to her, but they have, she said they've started working on them and addressing the weeds, so that's something. And then Alicia and Amanda were going to, I think they'll start this late summer, sort of look at each island and assess, who's looking after what needs we have for more help. And, just this, generally the state of them, and then just, I assume, to stay on top of each one to keep them tidy. It's difficult when you delegate and you assume that people are going to look after them. I mean, you would think that having a sign with your business name on and then mugwort surrounding it would be a deterrent.
Not a good detriment to bringing in business.
Well, that's lovely because Sue was doing it all on her own, and I do think it's a very big job. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to chat with Alicia and Amanda and divide it up between the three of you, that would be fantastic.
Okay. And if there's not enough work, you could always take on hanging baskets.
Oh yes, you might need help with hanging baskets. Oh, sorry, just a segue. I know we're jumping all over the place, but I noticed yesterday the hanging basket by Good Goods.
I noticed that too.
It's just dying.
Yeah.
It's just so tough. Well, Elder did step up to do 3 waterings, so he just started that this week, and he's fertilizing, and it's just, and some of them there are some bugs, so I got him some more of the Captain Jack's organic bug stuff, so hopefully we can get those, back on track. I pulled a couple of petunias out of here too.
Yes.
I might just mention it too, also to our grower that we've struggled this year.
Yes.
And maybe next year they'll, put more crystals in or something, or the water absorption crystals.
Right.
I wondered if it was something to do with the quality. Or
because we've had other hot summers.
Yeah.
Yeah. This has been really punishing, hasn't it?
It has been brutal.
Mm.
So.
Well, it's worth talking to them, just telling them our experience, maybe.
Right. And we had the hanging baskets that we did down at Pear Tree that were taken down because I said I would do my best to see if I could get them hanging baskets, and I shorted some of the ones on the post road in Norotan so that Pear Tree would have 3 hanging baskets plus the big planter. And I said, I can do that, but I cannot. I can't have our guy water them. You have to make arrangements to maintain the baskets.
Right.
And they didn't. So they just took the 3 dead baskets down, and she promised me she saved my chains.
Oh,
so
that's good.
I'm just so I was sitting down at the beach the other day, and I was just brokenhearted looking at the dead hanging baskets.
I know, what a shame.
And I sent the person on Park and Rec Commission a picture and told her I was heartbroken. She came down and she looked at them. And, all you had to do was just get something to stand on. Take the baskets down, put them under the shower.
Yeah.
Give them a really good drink and hang them back up.
Right. It's not a big
rocket
deal.
science, but apparently it must be.
Well, they're on it now, I think. They've replaced the baskets.
Did they? I didn't see them the other day.
Harry told me they had replaced them and they had someone watering. I haven't looked at them.
Oh, they weren't up as of Sunday.
Hmm?
They were not there as of Sunday.
Oh.
So.
Well, that's too bad. What a waste.
Or maybe it's the plan to replace them.
No, the planter's fine.
No, the plan to replace them.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
So, I just don't know where they would get anything even somewhat similar at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're so
It's late, isn't it?
expensive.
Go to Michael's and buy silk. Plastic.
At the gas stations. Okay, so Beautification Commission website. Linda's done a great job of adding all the material that I sent her. Apparently, I had in mind that we would just have headings, and then you would click on a heading and go to another page to look at the text. But apparently, our website doesn't lend itself to that. So all of the text is on the landing page of the beautification page. So that's fine, but apparently also it can't include photographs. So even
Well, they're redoing the website too.
Are they?
The whole town website. That's my understanding, because I was talking to Linda about my website.
Yeah.
And so they're in the process of I think by the end of this year or beginning of next year, there'll be a new website.
Yeah, I wondered if it was just a sort of an old platform.
Yeah.
And they need to kind of update it so that it can be more user-friendly. And I think
it's
a lot
tough-
of the...
It's tough attaching links and things.
That's exactly right. It's really hard to search for things because it's not intuitive where things are, and then the links are somewhat random. So I think if they're looking at overhauling it, that would be a great...
Teach me to be fidgety.
That would be a good thing. All right. Budget. Tracy.
Oh, me. Okay, well, we did get our new money.
It's fabulous.
Yes,
Yeah,
and you
it's
know what,
really
I
great.
made a correction, because really our budget will run 7/1 to 6/30, and in my prior works, I had put 8/1 to 7/30, and it was wrong. It was really supposed to be, the fiscal year really is July 1st to June 30th.
Oh, okay.
So it looks a little different this year, on this one now, but this is how it will reflect. The balances are all up there. We did spend all of the money in the capital account, so that we used that. The gift account, as Juliet said, has the $500, and that's from the Jim Cameron's funds from for the Commuter Action Group for Norotan. We had a bunch of expenses we put through for June. Some of them, we used up the balance of the money. The $68.58 was what we had as of June 30th, but we had outstanding bills. So we paid our bills, but we ended up taking a little money out of the $31,500 that we just got as our new budget amount. So we're at $28,079.
But I think, that was really worth it. But, we've cleaned up the
We
planters.
did a lot.
Yes.
And we've had really nice comments around the town hall
Yeah.
about how much better it looks out
Yes.
there.
Oh, yeah. No, it's incredible.
So, and I'm kind of like the plant lady now, and people come over and say, "Oh, so what should I do with my hydrangeas?"
That's so funny.
Yeah, and I'm thinking I probably should go out and deadhead maybe the rhodie blooms, the dead rhodie blooms.
They're falling off.
Well, if you snip them, right, then you can have the new bud make the new flower, And I was thinking they do look a little
sad.
unsightly, so.
I'm just glad they were blooming when we put them in.
Oh, they were beautiful.
Yes,
They were
because that's
pale
late in the
pink.
season. They are late
So
bloomers.
pretty.
It's good.
And the hydrangeas are starting to change color a little bit. They were all like really purple when they went in, and now they're a little pink, some purple, but now they're changing color a little.
Good.
Maybe that's the copper pipes, I don't know.
I need to, yes, or maybe people throwing money in.
This Trevi Fountain, US.
No, this is great. I'm really excited to
Joseph
have.
Landscape Masonry, just so you know too, they did all the planting,
Yeah.
but they also pulled out all of the swallow weed that was just taken over by the birches and things.
Oh,
So-
great. That was a lot of work.
There's
Yes.
there's still a little bit there.
They also, yes, I
That's a lot.
I'll have to keep chipping away.
constant.
I keep mentioning it to them. They also sourced all the plants for us, and while we thought they were quite expensive, it turned out they weren't too bad. They basically collect the plant, find the plants, and then they bring them to us. So that was sort of all included, and overall it worked out good quality, and so I think it was money well spent. And we did have to dip into our new money, but I think for the result that we've achieved, I think it's really good.
Right,
I think
and I
it's
think
fair.
we need to, just to finalize the last little bit of town hall, those last two planters in front
Yes.
of the door. We've got to pull out that dianthus, it just gets too stringy and dead, unless you really stay on top of it, so I think we should just put the ilex like we did on the rest of the planters.
Well, I think it's really strange because dianthus is normally an annual anyway, so the idea that it actually lasted through the winter and came back. Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I think we should pull that. I've had to pull a couple of the petunias out too, but now we have irrigation. When they put the irrigation on the cement beds, they also put irrigation into the 4 planters along that wall by the benches. And eventually they're going to try and maybe do our 2 front planters too.
That would be nice.
Wait, I thought the front 2 planters did have irrigation.
It's not working properly.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So they're going to try and repair that for us.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
While we're speaking of planters, the planter in front of the post office, the flowers look really nice there still, but maybe if we have something, maybe we could put something in there for the winter, because it turned into a huge trash receptacle.
Oh,
It's like
gosh.
a walking ashtray.
I mean, it was a good thing that I had a bag in my car.
Well,
it was
do you remember?
so disgusting.
We talked about fixing up the planters around Town Hall in the winter because Public Works was commenting that they looked a bit
Yes.
awful. And so we were thinking about, we can even cut some of the sticks of the red twig dogwood at the berm, for example.
Oh, right.
And we can use sticks and pine cones and
Yeah, we can do
Put
greenery.
like some winter greenery
Yes.
in there.
Yeah.
And we
Okay.
could do the same thing.
Okay.
We'll figure out some kind of design or
Okay.
arrangement that would look good. Yeah.
All right,
And
Just
if you
add
do get
that.
it, if you haven't been down to Tilly, you have to check out how pretty the gardens look.
Yes, the garden club did
Like a boathouse.
2 lots of plantings by the pavilion there.
Oh,
It
nice.
looked very good.
Good.
And our planters, we carried out the ilex like we did here at Town Hall with the petunias on the outside and the ilex in the middle.
Nice.
So we done with budget?
Yeah, I'm done.
No, I'm really happy with this. And we'll have a good year. Lots of plans for how to spend this money wisely. The only other thing I can think of for any other business is just to see if anybody would like formally to be secretary, because Jackie, I think, would rather not be secretary. And maybe this is a discussion we can have at the next meeting, but I don't know, Colleen, Elizabeth, if you feel like doing it. I'm not putting you on the spot, but just to think about, and you can talk to the others too. Or maybe any new recruits we say you can come on board, but need to be the secretary.
I joined, and a month later I was secretary.
That's what happened when I joined. I was secretary too.
You were?
Yeah, not for that long.
So then I did secretary until I became treasurer, and I couldn't do both. I'm like,
Yeah.
All right, well, gives them no resounding takers this morning. So we'll talk about it on the next meeting. I'll send an email around to see as well. Okay, well, I think that's it.
And who was it who's taking care of that island on the bottom of Hollow Tree and the Post Road? Was that Alicia?
Oh, that was Alicia's neighbor, I think, wasn't it?
It looks so much better. I mean, it's not
Oh,
perfect
good.
right now, but it's definitely way cleaner than it's ever been in most summers.
Good.
There are a couple weeds in it, but nothing
Yeah,
serious.
I'm pretty certain that was just a private resident.
Yeah, because there's
Doing a good
hydrangea
deed.
in there, and there's
Yeah.
chrysanthemums coming up that are nice in there and not leggy. A couple different things. That looks pretty.
I need to go and have a look. I really guess don't leave my territory very much.
Yeah.
And any news on the police department gardens?
Oh, the police department garden, yes. Well, okay, I have let that slip a little bit. We've really missed our window at the moment for planting and cleaning up. I don't want to clean it up and leave it empty. So on my to-do list is to go over there and double check that there's somebody who could maintain it. And I think if we can arrange to sort of tackle that one in the fall too, that'll be good. And it'd be a good use of some of our new money as well, I think.
Yeah, some of our new money too we could use if we do find that we clean certain areas at the berm and do get them in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
We could buy bulk mulch to put down in there, and that would help because it's so dry there, and Amy smiled too.
Yes, yeah.
But the berm we have to pay for out of our money. The town won't supply it because it's technically DOT. It's kind of that gray area.
Right.
Same thing with Amy Smile with
Yeah.
Public Works and
No, I
Parking
agree.
Lot.
I think the mulch should be really helpful.
Would help keep the moisture in there.
Yes. The grade is about the same as the left-hand slope here, isn't it? So I think that it's manageable. On Habitat Hill, the slope that's by the Mather Centre is so steep. And the mulch is dislodging a little bit. Some of the plants, I don't know whether it's a function of having pulled out bindweed that's dislodged, but I think what I'm trying to do is stuff more butterfly weed in there that has the really, really deep roots to try and keep the mulch in place. But yeah, that's just. But I think that grade is steeper than the berm, and I think we could mulch safely on the berm, and it would help. It would look a lot better too.
It would, yeah,
It's just
definitely help.
a vast amount of mulch.
Yeah.
We do it in stages.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm thinking.
You know.
We do it piece by
You know,
piece.
for like one side of the staircase, we'll do
Yes.
a section, and then,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's something we could,
Well, even the work that the interns, the pollinator pathway interns did at the beginning of the summer, even a lot of the invasives have grown back. You can see where the work was done. It is
it looks like it
significantly
has
different.
intended.
Yes, yeah. So I think if we, you know, as we keep elder at work and as we can do things towards the end of the summer, it'll start to take shape. We've just got to be really devoted to it for the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay. All right. Well, I think we can end this then. So can I have a motion to adjourn? Elizabeth, thank you. Colleen seconded. I'm sure everyone's in favour. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.